Alright, guys, we got a rainy night down here where I live, and I want to talk about an interesting subject to me. And that subject is the paranormal world. So, I love paranormal stuff. I could talk about this kind of thing all day. But I've had some paranormal experiences in my life. So, the first one I had, I'll go back to when I was 9 years old. My cousin, he had a heart condition, and we're sitting in my living room and we're watching a video to teach another cousin of mine that lived with us how to play bass guitar. And my cousin's telling him, I'm going to teach you to play the bass. The bass is so easy and it give you a great rhythm foundation. And this was February 9th, 1997. And he was sitting on the couch right beside me to this side. And we're watching the video, and he gets quiet. Doesn't really say much. And he had been complaining about not feeling good all day that day. This was on a Sunday. I can remember it like it was yesterday. But he had a heart attack and passed away in our house where I lived at the time. And he goes to the hospital. I still remember the paramedics working on him and all that stuff. And it's really, I never forgot it. It's been in my head. It's been drilled into my memory for all these years. But my parents go to the hospital. My cousin stays with us, me and my sister, because we were just little kids. And then we go to the funeral. And after the funeral, we go to his parents' house that live about 45 minutes to an hour away from us to take his belongings back because he was staying with us at the time, just for the weekend. And we had a kerosene heater. That's how we got our heat. It was off when we left the house. And it was cold. Man, it was a cold winter that year. It had snowed. And we go up, take his belongings back to his parents' house, and we get back, and the kerosene heater is lit. The house is warm, nice and toasty. And my cousin comes in, and my mom says, "Have you been here today?" Because he was at work putting up gutters. That's what he did. And he's like, "No, I haven't been here. I've been gone all day long." And then me and my sister go to sleep that night. And we start seeing his spirit. I seen him 3 or 4 times. And I got a really bad double ear infection on this side and this side. I had fluid behind my eardrums. He appeared to me. And he said, "Don't worry, buddy. Your mom will take care of you. When she gets home from work in the morning, she's going to take you to the doctor. They'll get you fixed up." And we would tell my mom and my dad, we saw him, he's in our room, he talks to us. And my mom said, "That's nonsense. You can't, he's dead. You can't see him. He isn't here anymore. He's dead." And so we just kept it to ourselves. And we go to school one day, and my mom is asleep. She worked 12-hour shifts, and she's sleeping for the day to work that night, 8 to 8. And she hears racket going on in the kitchen. The microwave starts up, like someone's making coffee, which is what he did when he would stay with us. He'd making some coffee in the morning. And she hollers for my cousin, my other cousin that was living with us, "Is that you in there?" And nobody answers her. And she turns over to face her bedroom door. And my cousin that passed away walked right past her door. He never once looked her way. This is what she told me and my sister. He never looked at her. And she jumped up out of the bed, come in the living room. Ricky, where'd you go? Where'd you go? You know? And there was nobody in the house. Well, we get home from school that day. She's outside on the porch, sitting. And she refused to go back in the house. And we were like, Mom, what are you doing out here? You're never out here waiting on us to get home off the bus. And she said, I believe you now, because I saw one too. So that was the first paranormal experience I had. This house, where I'm at right now, has spirits in it. And I did research on the land here. And there has been some incidents happen here. And I think that's what's contributed to it. So sometimes late at night, when you're about to go to sleep, you can hear voices that are muffled. It's like 4 or 5 people talking amongst themselves. You can't make out what they're saying, but they're just talking amongst themselves. And then sometimes you can hear distant music playing that sounds like something out of the 1930s. It's really odd. And I will hear our washroom door open and close and ask my parents, did y'all get up last night to do something in the washroom, you know? And they'll both be like, nope, we slept all night long. I can hear people walking in the kitchen. I can be sitting here playing guitar or playing a game, and I'll think my parents call to me to come do something or come help them with something. And I'll go in there and say, huh? What? Did you call for me? And they're like, no, we didn't say anything. Then my mom, she's had 2 experiences here that have caused her to sleep with a nightlight since. There was one incident where she saw a red-headed man standing by her bed looking at her. And she kicked her foot at him, turned her lamp on next to her on her nightstand, and he was gone. And then the second one she had freaked me and my sister out, both of us, when my sister lived here. She said she was asleep and she woke up. She was not asleep. She woke up. She knows she wasn't dreaming. And she said it was like somebody was on top of her, holding her down in the bed. And she could hear this sound that sounds like a tin Coke can being rubbed between your hands, back and forth. And many, many voices just saying all kinds of things, and she couldn't get up. And she was freaking out, and she hit her touch lamp that turns the lamp on, and everything stopped. And she sleeps with a nightlight ever since that. And then I had 2 other cousins and a friend of the family that were killed in a logging accident. They were hit by a log truck. And we went to bed a little bit after Dad passed away. My parents got me and my sister in the bed. This was like circa 2001. Sometime in January of 2001. And me and my sister were getting ready to go to bed. I saw a blue orb come down the hallway outside my room and come in my room, right in my face, like right here. And it was bright. It lit my whole room up. Like I had a light on, man. It was ridiculously scary for us. And we were only like teenagers, like preteen, 12, 13 years old. We both slept with my mom that night because my dad was at work, working night shift 12 hours. And so that's another one I've had. And then let's see what else I can think of here real quick. I really like this subject. It's really interesting. Let's see. Is there anything else that has happened here? me and my buddy that plays guitar with me, we decided 2 nights. We've done this 2 nights. We were gonna do some EVP sessions to see if we can catch anything. The first night, we did it pretty unproductive. Didn't really catch much. But the second time we did it, I keep noticing, even right now, there's random cold spots in my house. If you walk into the living room, it gets really cold. In here, it stays really hot. In my nephew's room, that used to be my old room down the hall, it stays medium room temperature, like 70. In here, sometimes it's like 85. It's hot. I don't know why. But we decided we want to start asking some questions. See if we can get a response. And we use the cell phone to do the recording and listen back with earbuds. And we asked some questions and we play it back. And there's this really dark, ominous voice that gave a response. I won't say what it said, but me and him both didn't sleep that night. He stayed here that night just hanging out. He stayed here all night because he was afraid to get up and leave this room because of that voice we heard. And sometimes when you can go in my living room in the dark, go into the kitchen, get you something to drink, and you will feel like someone's watching you. Like there's eyes on you. And they're staring you down. There are like 5 or 6 different spirits here. And there's a picture of an old family friend sitting playing the guitar at a get-together that we'd had, a party we'd had here one night. And someone found an original copy of that picture and sent it to my mom's Facebook. And she looks at the picture and she calls me and my dad over. Come and look at this. You can see 4 different spirits in that picture. And I showed it to my buddy that did the EVP sessions with me. And even he was like, holy shit. That's crazy, man. There's a little kid sitting down in front of him, looking up at him, watching him play. There's a little girl down at the end of the neck with her hand on top of his cording hand, like she's holding his hand. And then in the back, behind him in our window, you can see something that does not look human. And I think that is the spirit that stays in our living room. I don't think it's a human spirit. I think it's dark. It's an entity. Because there's one thing I found in the research I did here on our land. This land has been here since 1902. That's the first time someone lived on this property. And the guy and the family that lived here, the guy lost his mind, killed his whole family here. His wife, his daughter, and his son, and then killed himself. And I think he's the dark entity that's here. Because they say people that have anger that pass away, and if it's a really violent death, they stay that way in the spirit world and become an angry spirit that's not at rest. And there's a little girl in our house, and she stays in the hallway most times, and she'll run down to the end of a bookshelf that we have in the hallway, and she'll look at you and then run back, almost like she's playing peekaboo with you. And I haven't seen the lady. I have heard a lady's voice in here. You know, me and my dad were working on a guitar that he had, and he wanted me to show him how Floyd Rose is set up, or floating trim, whatever. And we got some music playing. Got Steve Vai on the radio. And I hear a woman's voice say, "Hey, what are y'all doing?" And we're like, "What? We're in here." We thought it was my mom. And I come out into the living room, look outside. me and my dad are the only ones here. So, yeah. Our house is haunted, but we've been here for 21 years, and nothing's ever hurt us. So we just let them be. And there's one other story I'll throw in. This happened to my sister. She had 8 people in this room with her. This used to be her room before she moved out, and then I moved in. But they were all up. This is like 4 o'clock in the morning, and they hear something running up and down our hall and calling my sister's name. And they were being loud and doing what girls do, listening to their NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and all that stuff. And my sister's like, "Shut up! Everybody, be quiet. I think I woke my dad up. I think he's calling for us." And they all listened and heard it running down the hallway, and it says her name. They all come in my room, wake me up. "What are you doing out here messing with us?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about, man? I'm freaking sleeping. You know, I'm not like y'all. I don't stay up all night." Well, I did, but I didn't have anybody over to stay up all night playing video games with or nothing. And then they go to my mom and dad, freaking out, all of them. There's something calling her name, and we don't know what it is. And my dad, he's like, he used to be a skeptic, and he was like, "Just go back to sleep. It's already 4:30 in the morning. Y'all shouldn't even be up anyway. Get back in the bed. There ain't nothing in this house." What changed his mind was him seeing the little girl for the first time that's in here. And I have other paranormal stuff that I can talk about, but I don't want this video to get super long. But that's just an interesting subject to me. The paranormal world and what really happens after we pass away. And there's a lot of religions, and they all believe something different. But I guess that's just something we won't know until we pass away. But if anybody out there likes paranormal things, and you see this video, and then you want to tell me some of the paranormal experiences that you've had, let me know about it, man, because I love that stuff. And I can talk about it forever. It's really cool. But that's just a few of my experiences and one of my sisters. And I wanted to tell you guys about it just to do a little something different on here. So if you guys like this kind of stuff, I can do more. Just let me know in the comments or start hitting the thumbs up button on here. And if you do like my videos and you take the time out to subscribe, click that notification bell so that you'll know when a new video goes up. That way you can stay on top of whatever I'm doing, whatever guitar I've got, or whatever nonsense I want to ramble on about. Just do it to it, man. And I really appreciate everyone that's watched. That blue guitar, the Satriani that I have, the 140M, I'm really surprised in that video of how many views it's got, and I thank each and every person that has viewed that video. I appreciate it. If you guys find it helpful, I'm glad I could help. And if any of you out there have bought that thing, I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. So, that's all I have to say about that. And everyone have a good night. And like and subscribe if you feel the need. I appreciate everyone.